Alright, so in this video, we are going to talk about road rage on your motorcycle. Let's check it out. Alright, just gassed up, and we are all set to ride. Alright, what's going on, YouTube? BK Low is back in the building. And one of my Patreon members by the name of Street Bob Poppy requested that I do a particular video. I've actually gotten a lot of requests recently for various videos, but if you didn't know, I do prioritize members of my Patreon. So if you want priority on your requests, consider checking out my Patreon. Even $1 helps me do this stuff. But on to business. So he wrote to me and he said, hey, I notice in a lot of your videos, a lot of times things that would quote unquote trigger other bikers into a blind rage, you seem to just let go or laugh off a lot of the time. And he was saying, I was wondering, how do you deal with road rage? And what's your stance on road rage? So what a good question. What a good question. So yeah, if you follow my videos, that's just not the energy I bring to my channel, you know? But even off the camera, my friends will tell you, I'm not someone who condones road rage, I'm not someone who supports it. And if anything, I do everything I can to mitigate it for me or anyone around me. And I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna tell you that I'm perfect either. You know, I'm not perfect, you know. I do my best to not get caught up in any type of road rage. I wouldn't even say I've ever gone into road rage, but, you know, I've definitely had some times where someone is being really aggressive or cut me off really bad, and my response maybe wasn't the best. Now, I'm not talking like I got crazy and like, you know, violent or anything, or really frustrated, but maybe my response, rather than stopping, taking a breath, and assessing the situation, was to speed off and do triple digits and show the guy that, hey, actually, you're not as good of a driver as you think you are, and let me blow you away. And whereas in the moment that feels pretty good, reflecting back on it, it's like, yeah, that's definitely not the correct way to handle bad driving. So, road rage, right? And I've seen plenty of my friends engage in it. Some of the riders that I respect the most, I see engage in it. My dad, for example, is probably going to be upset that I'm disclosing this, but you've probably seen it if you've been on my channel. My dad is definitely prone to getting some road rage on his motorcycle. And it's happened plenty of times. And it's never been like anything that's violent, but I watch him turn into a different person if someone does something that he doesn't condone on the road. And he'll, you know, intentionally go out of his way, ride up to the guy, knock on the window, give him the finger, do whatever he's got to do to make himself feel better about the situation. And then I'll talk to him about it later, and I'll be like, Dad, you know, that probably wasn't the best way to handle that. And he'll usually agree, and then we'll go an extended period of time where he's being more careful about it. And then, he'll flare up again here and there. Again, none of us are perfect. But again, I do consider myself to be pretty successful at not getting road rage. And that doesn't mean that I don't encounter things that upset me on my bike or endanger my life or whatever. I do every day. It just means that I have a different way of responding to it. So I want to answer Street Bob Poppy's question, and I'll do it in 5 ways. And we'll talk about 5 ways that I mitigate road rage on my motorcycle. Okay, so way number one is take ownership. And what that means is, I would say maybe 90% of incidents that you find yourself involved in on a motorcycle, 90% of incidents you probably could have done something to avoid. Now again, I'm gonna say most, right? I'm not gonna say all, because there's just some freak things that could happen that, you know, hey, even the best rider is not gonna be able to get their way out of that one. Freak things happen, right? But I would say that, especially if you watch like YouTube channels that analyze accidents, you could usually pinpoint particular moments where if the rider tweaked something or did something a little bit different, they could have prevented whatever the incident was that would trigger the road rage. So I know that, right? So a lot of times when something does happen, like I get cut off or whatever, rather than me blaming the driver and taking it all out on the driver, I take my own responsibility and I put it onto myself. And I say, BK Low, what could you have done different leading up to that to have avoided that? You know? Rather than saying, oh man, this guy did this, right? This guy did this to me. It's his fault. So that's something that I think triggers road rage more than most things, is people just not taking responsibility of things that they could have done to prevent the incident. And that could be a lot of things. That could be like, maybe don't speed. Maybe don't split lanes as fast as you were going. A lot of different things, right? So yeah, that's number one, is take ownership. It's never gonna be 100% someone else's fault. It's just not reality. There's two sides to every story. Thing number two, and I've said this in other videos, is acceptance. You need to accept, especially if you ride in a place like I'm riding right now. Look at all these cars on the road. How many of these drivers have their phones out? I don't even want to think about it. But what I do, make sure I do before I hop on my bike, is I accept that I'm putting myself out there with drivers who may not be paying as much attention as I am. And I am accepting that, okay? Just like I accept that the sun's out, just like I'm accepting anything in nature. It's just part of the game, and you have to accept that, especially in a gnarly environment like this, incidents are going to happen if you put in miles. It's inevitable. So now, once you accept that, and you accept the driving culture in America, which is, that's a whole separate video. That's just something that I have a whole slew of problems with. But once you accept that that's just the way it is, then when the incidents do happen, you're not going to let it escalate. You're not going to let it ruin your day. You had already, you know, you had already accepted that this was a possibility, that this could happen. Okay, so thing number two was acceptance, right? Thing number three to avoiding getting caught up in road rage is don't take it personally. It's not personal. Just because you got cut off doesn't mean that the driver personally did it to you. It has nothing to do with you. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what that person's day is looking like. You know? They could be going through some crazy situation right now. You never know. Don't take it personally. You know? By not taking it personally, then when the incident does happen, you're not going to feel like, oh, this guy is out to get me. This guy's out to get motorcycles. This guy's disrespecting, whatever. Just don't take it personally. That's it. You know? I would say probably 95% of incidents that happen that people are getting road rage over, they're obviously mistakes. I don't think anyone's driving out there to potentially cut you off or make your day that much harder. Again, it's a problem that I have with the driving culture in this country, where maybe the general driver on the road right now in 2020, like, we just don't have the training that we need. You know, we're giving kids full licenses at the age of, what, 17 in some states, 18 in the state of New York. Dude, your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. So now picture that. Think about all the mistakes you made back when you were 18, 19, 20, right? And I'm not saying that these mistakes are wrong, you know, we grow from our mistakes. But think about all the mistakes you made, right? And now think about those mistakes, and then think about, you know, making those mistakes while you're in a vehicle designed to go faster than vehicles have ever gone in human history. It's not a formula for motorcycle safety, right? So don't take it personally. It's not personal. It's gonna happen, and you don't have control over it. You do not have control over it. But what you do have control over, which is very powerful, and which is the number one fight against getting road rage, is you have control over how you respond, right? You don't have control over the driving culture in our country. You don't have control that the incident happened. You don't have control that this person was checking their phone. But you do have control over how you respond. And that could go a lot of different ways. And I think it's a pretty black and white thing. You either respond in a positive way, or you respond in a negative way. Responding in a negative way, speeding off in a rage, kicking the dude's door, punching off the mirror, stopping and cursing, stopping and giving the finger. All ways that are not gonna help anyone, you or the driver. Because think about it, right? Most incidents that are gonna happen in congested, tight situations with a lot of cars on the road. So now, you're gonna get upset. You're gonna take yourself off your riding game when you probably need it the most, right? You're in traffic. You're in a situation that allowed the incident to happen the most, and now you're throwing off your game. So what does that mean to you as you're racing up to show the guy who's boss? Well, that means you're probably gonna rear end someone. That means you're probably gonna make a mistake. That means you are letting your emotions get the best of you, and that is a problem. So you ask yourself, oh, BK Low, it's so easy for you to say. How do I control my emotions? Yes, I know I never have made any good decisions when I've been emotional. Yes, this is true. How do we control our emotions? Well, that brings me on to thing number 4, which is, and again, I think the motorcycle world is gonna let me have it for this one, but I think that in 2020, whether you ride a motorcycle or not, I think that you should practice some form of breathing techniques. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. Me personally, I don't know if you knew this, but I meditate twice a day, and I usually try to get in 1 hour session of yoga. So that's about 2 hours a day. I'm focusing on breath control. I'm focusing on mindfulness, just being still and focused, right? That carries over into my entire day, and that is one of the things that probably plays the biggest part in allowing me to regulate and control my emotions, allowing me to keep my head in stressful situations. It all comes down to breathing practice and mindfulness practice. It has a huge impact. I've been doing it for years, and I attribute that to a lot of any successes I've had in many different aspects of my life. You know, I've taken it into when I was training jiu-jitsu, it was helpful. I've taken it into work, you know, having difficult conversations with colleagues or what have you. You know, you'll notice benefits in all sorts of aspects of your life. And then I've taken it into riding. You know, I'm a more focused rider, paying more attention. I'm more in the zone when I need to be, you know? I'm thinking about exactly what's in front of me when I'm on my bike. I'm not thinking about how many likes that picture I just posted got, what I'm gonna eat for dinner, etc. So look, when I first started, I started off really small. I used the Calm meditation app. It's literally just 10-minute guided meditations. They're really good. I know a couple other bikers that use that too, and that's a really good way to just get started if you know, you're kind of intimidated by meditation. But I'm telling you, it works. Like, look, I'm sitting in traffic on a hot Dyna on like a 95-degree day, and I'm having a great time talking to you guys. Like, this is fine right now. What does it come down to? Mindfulness and meditation. So start off with that. Start off with a Calm meditation, you know, maybe once a day. And then if you like it, move into twice a day. And then, you know, if you like that, then maybe you want to get into some other meditation techniques that'll allow you to do it for longer periods of time. And then, you know, maybe you want to try some yoga. You know, that has more benefits than just the breathing techniques. You know, if you put in a lot of miles, you know, and your back starts to hurt after 200 miles, you might notice that after doing some yoga, you don't have those issues anymore. Or maybe you're overweight. You don't know how to get started with fitness. Yoga is a great way to get started. So that's my tip number 4. It's helped me immensely in my life, and I hope that you could give it a try. Let's try it right now. Let's see if you could take 20 seconds of this beautiful stream, just you and the beautiful stream, for you to just focus on your breathing. Try it out. Alright, so were you able to do it for 20 seconds? I know I still have a hard time doing it after years. You know, all sorts of thoughts are coming in my head. It's hard, but that's why they call it practice, you know, because we're just trying to get better. No one's got it down perfectly. Okay, so thing number 5. And man, Street Bob Poppy, thanks for suggesting this topic. I'm really enjoying talking to you guys about this. Thing number 5 is use the resources that are out there, and what I mean is subscribe to channels that focus on motorcycle safety. There are so many out there right now. One of the ones that I try to frequent periodically, I love this guy. His name is MC Rider, comes out of Texas. You know, just talks in the same tone the entire video. It's amazing. I love this guy, but he's just like no nonsense. He's an MSS instructor, licensed, and he tells you what you need to know. And the thing that I really like about his channel the most is he celebrates mistakes. He celebrates the errors that we make on our motorcycle. So if I make a mistake on my bike, if I find myself in an incident, he's created this culture on his channel where his subscribers are comfortable sharing it, so it could be analyzed, and so that the rest of the motorcycle community can learn from it, could learn how could we have prevented this, what could we have done differently. And I mean, he's doing such a service for the motorcycle community. If you're gonna support a channel on Patreon, I think MC Rider is definitely deserving of it, because the service that he's providing is major. And again, I'm not as diligent as I should be. You know, I need to, like, I should probably be, you know, watching a couple of his videos a week just to stay on my A game. But when I do watch his videos, I always walk away learning something new. So check him out, MC Rider out of Texas. And again, he's not the only one doing it. There's plenty of channels out there that focus on motorcycle safety and risk mitigation, and I'm sure he's probably covered this topic too regarding road rage. I'm sure he's had to. He probably is doing a way better job than I did. So check him out. But that is all I got if you cannot control your emotions, you probably shouldn't be on a motorcycle. So do not, again, first and foremost, we've all been guilty of it. Do not hop on your bike if you are emotional. If you're having a bad day, if you had a fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, stay off the bike. Do something else. Go to the gym. The motorcycle has no room for emotions, unless they're positive emotions, like high fives and wacky horns. Oh, whoops, that guy thinks I'm honking at him. But yeah, Street Bob. Hope that answers your question. Hope I did it justice. As always, everyone, stay safe out there and stay low. And this video is part of the definition of what stay low actually means. When you go and you freak out and you kick someone's door and then you wind up crashing your bike, that is not staying low. But when you have some old lady cut you off and you maneuver properly and you just wave it off and you laugh it off and you continue enjoying your ride, that is what we call staying low. And everyone could do it. Again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention positive mental attitude for this video. If you are not maintaining a positive mental attitude, it's going to be hard for you to not fall into your emotions, not fall into road rage. Practice a positive mental attitude. Easiest way to do that, listen to the Bad Brains. Right now, today. And as always, to close it, I'll put it out there to you guys. If you think I missed a tip, or there's some way that you practice mitigating road rage, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Or maybe you just disagree with this video completely. Like maybe you think road rage is necessary. I don't know. Leave it in the comments. I'm sure I'm going to get some pushback on this video one way or another. Thanks for watching, guys. BK Low is out.